Hello there, everybody. I am Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach, right on time. I'm the founder of the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program, creator of Dream Business Academy, founder of No Hassle Newsletters, which is my extraordinary done-for-you newsletter program, which has been used by over 1,200 small business owners in 9 countries. Most importantly, today, if I keep my voice, I am the host of Dream Business Radio, now in its 10th year. This is episode 524. How cool is that? So a big welcome to another fantastic live edition of Dream Business Radio with my special guest, Susie Bills. And Susie, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. Wow, 500 episodes. That's amazing.
I know.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I thought I'd run out of stuff to talk about, but that's why I have great guests like you come on.
But here we are. Yes.
But here we are. So anyway, folks, this episode of Dream Business Radio is brought to you by the Dream Business Mastermind and Coaching Program. If you are an entrepreneur or small business owner who is tired of slow to no growth, if you're unfocused, if you're like overwhelmed, but especially, I always say, especially if you're interested in creating multiple streams of revenue in your business, you want to be part of this extraordinary virtual mastermind led by me, Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach. You can learn more at Dream Biz Coaching, dreambizcoaching.com. Let me give one more quick plug here while we're doing this for the lucrative virtual mastermind. This is a program I'm running. The cart closes on Tuesday, but this is a program where I show you exactly how I created my mastermind, my virtual mastermind in 2009, and how it's grown to be the premier program and honestly revenue generator, which has allowed me to live this amazing lifestyle. Well, I guess this isn't so amazing, but that was. But details are at lucrativevirtualmastermind.com, lucrativevirtualmastermind.com. All right, let me tell you a little bit about my special guest, Susie, and we will dive right in. It's going to be a great interview, folks. As a marketing agency owner and business strategist, Susie has had several successful businesses. She's created multiple income streams. Boom, there's one, tick that box, and has brought together international teams over the last 7 years, all while traveling the globe and working remotely. Now you know why I'm so excited. We're like kindred spirits. And now you know, again, why I'm so excited to have Susie on the program. She has many marketing talents, and her primary focus and expertise is in digital marketing and online businesses, especially and specifically best practices for building and scaling online using the amazing power of social media, email marketing, and organic and paid advertising model. Everybody wants just the organic, but you got to remember there is the paid version as well. And Susie coaches her clients to incorporate live broadcasting across platforms such as LinkedIn, Facebook, etc., which is what we're doing right now. Susie believes live LinkedIn broadcasting is currently way underutilized, which is something I just added probably about 2 months ago to this, what used to be just Facebook. Now it's Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So anyway, once again, Susie, welcome to Dream Business Radio.
Thank you so much. I'm very, very pleased to be here.
So anyway, so my usual start off, because I'm a man of habit and predictability somewhat. The listeners over 10 years, they've always told me they love the strategies, the how-tos, the little tidbits, the profit bombs, if you want to call them that. And, but they also love the inspirational stories. Everybody goes through a journey. And, so a couple months ago, as I tell people, my podcast, by the way, this is my 7th call today, and I have 2 more. So if I'm a little tongue-tied, you'll understand. So Dream Business Radio, it might help if I slow down a bit. So Dream Business Radio is featured on some podcast platform, and I got 160 applications. So I was like, holy smokes. So I looked through a bunch of them, and yours was one of you literally caught my eye, not only with the online business, but the fact that you live a nomadic lifestyle. You travel. I said, man, she's going to get me. You know what I mean? So talk a little bit about your story and like how you went from, I'm guessing you went from corporate America to entrepreneur, and then how you now travel, and tell us where you're actually calling in from.
Yeah. So today, my husband and I are in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And we came here about 4 years ago with the intention of just hanging out for a while, maybe a couple months. Loved it, stayed here. Then COVID hit, so it extended our stay here by about 2 years. And next month, we're actually going
What a place to get stuck, by the way.
It was lovely because nobody was here. There was no travel, right? So we had the whole place to ourselves, which was an interesting place to be in, and also a great place to just be able to. That was such a life-changing event for so many people, but also people realized that they can work online, right? That was something that a lot of people didn't even have in their mind. So that was really fantastic, and we helped a lot of people start their own businesses during that time because people needed to do that. And so so we've been here. Next month we're taking off. We're going to go to travel to Europe and start exploring Europe. But I will start. About 7 years ago. My husband and I are from San Francisco, the Silicon Valley area. And for years we had a construction company. I was an account. I did all the accounting. He project managed all the jobs. It was the typical, it was a very successful business. We worked way too many hours. We spent way too much money on things that we thought would make us happy. But it was, we were doing the thing, right? And then we had a very, very dear friend of ours at the young age of 40 pass away very quickly from cancer, and with small children, and that whole thing and things like that. And I know, I'm sure many of your listeners are aware, and Jim, right, you're very aware that that certain things happen in our life, and it just changes the way we look at things, and it just changes everything. And so that was that was the catalyst for us to take a look and at our lives and think, what are we doing? Like, why are we working 14, 16 hours a day? Not really working on our relationships or our health or all these other things that are so vital to living a great life. And so we made a plan. We gave ourselves about a year to 18 months. We sold his business. We had, an exit plan. We sold our house. We sold all our stuff. The first thing we did was we got it, which a lot of people do, which is great, is we got an RV, and we did all around the US for like a year, right? So we did all the things with
awesome.
our two dogs. And so that was amazing. But we wanted to explore other parts of the world. And so that's when we headed to Mexico in 2018. And during that time, so we had savings and things like that, but obviously we knew we were going to have to do something, right? In order to facilitate our lifestyle, we decided that we wanted to have so badly. And so I started dipping my toe into the online world. What could I do to make money, with not a lot of upfront costs? I was kind of just looking around, and I stumbled into, which a lot of people do, network marketing. So that was my first, okay, I'm going to have my own business, and I'm going to use social media to market it, right? To find my people and all of that. And so that's what I did for about a year and a half. I played around in that arena.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So you started a networking marketing business, and then used social media to promote that.
Yeah. So I joined a network marketing company, right? But I'm not. Typical network marketing is more like you have people over to your house and do parties, and I don't have a house, so so I thought, well, social media is the way that I can create an audience, I can create a group of people and do it that way. And so what happened, because we have plans, but then the universe, or whatever you want to call it, has other plans for us, right? So as it turns out, I was really good at social media. I didn't know, but as I learned, I was doing well. And some of the people higher up in the company asked me, they noticed what I was doing and asked if I could do some free trainings on Facebook for the company and things like that. And I was like, okay, sure. And so that's how I got into understanding that so many people need social media, and it's overwhelming for a lot of people, and there is ways we can do it, and people were looking for help. So that's what I started doing, and that's essentially how I built our digital marketing agency. Was from
That's
that point
so cool.
on. Yeah.
It's so cool. First of all, you took a shot, like you and your husband just said, we're going to be happy. You know what I find interesting, and I've studied this a lot for my own life and then other people we meet, but we become a slave to the stuff that we own, the stuff we think is going to make us happy, right? I mean, for me, for a while, I was like, oh, we're going to have one new car. Then we're going to have two new cars. It's all this stuff. And we literally, we have one 10-year-old car right now. It paid for. We have zero debt. I mean, and it's so freeing, and I don't know. We feel lightweight. We feel mobile. But it's one of these things. And I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too far. But really understanding what it is that you want and what makes you happy and being okay with that and not chasing somebody else's dream, right?
Right. And a big part of that is not caring what other people are going to think about you. Because my
Yes.
family, our friends, they all still think we're weird. Now they think what we do is cool because, like, they see, we come back to the States and visit and all of that. But at first, for the first couple years, it was like, we don't know what happened to them. They like went off the deep end. They like sold everything and like left. Right? People think
When
it's
you did
strange.
that, I just got to ask, when you did that, well, so here's my question
Yeah.
in our own. When Stephanie and I were going to sell the house and sell some of our stuff and move on the boat, there was no gray area. Some people, maybe half and half. Some people thought that's the coolest thing ever, and other people said, "You guys are nuts. You should not be doing that." Right?
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, no, most people thought we were nuts, and one of the reasons why is because Mexico still kind of has a stigma sometimes about being
Uh-huh.
dangerous or these other things, which we have
Yeah.
not had any of that where we've been. So it was like, they were like, "Are you sure? Really?" Like they, yeah,
Do you have
it's been
security?
interesting. Do you have, yeah, a lot of that, but now, like I said, it's been long enough that now they think it's cool and they want a little bit of what we got. Sometimes they're like,
Yeah.
how did
I
you
mean,
do
that's
that?
if there was a any benefit at all to the pandemic, it showed people you can work virtually. Really good
Yes.
friend of mine has this very successful marketing agency, like 30 employees. He was one of these guys. I want to know where people are. Not that he stood over their shoulder, but I just like having the team around.
Yeah.
Of course, then with COVID, he goes, my God, everybody was as productive or more. They loved it. And I got this big expensive place now. So it
Yeah.
really opened a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah. I had so many people. Um, it never was in their mind that they could actually write a book or do coaching
Mm.
online or these things and they're, it just wasn't like an option. Right. But then all of a sudden everybody's at home and boom, it was like the way to do things. And so my agency tripled during COVID, helping people build their own businesses
Wow.
because people knew what they wanted to do. They just weren't quite sure how. So we were able to help them with that. So that was
So I know when you got started, I don't know where these are today, but in my research for the interview here, I know you created the Savvy CEO Society, which
yep.
cool name, kind of love that. And then I think your latest venture is the Virtual RX Agency. Are
So
those
yeah,
still okay? So talk
Yeah. So
about
the virtual
those.
RX agency is our digital agency. So that's all
Okay.
social media. That's all online business. We help people build those and all of that. The Savvy CEO is more of like my personal brand, I guess, if you want to call it that. I love all things like spirituality, personal development.
Mm-hmm.
How can we live better and how can we be happy? Meditation, all those things. So that's kind of my personal brand where I get to talk about all my fun, cool stuff that have really changed my life in so many ways. And then the RX agency is how we can help you do the same thing if you would like, right? We have that agency piece to it. But the society is a free Facebook group that I have. I have so many people always just really stuck. They know they want to do something, don't know where to start, don't even have like any idea in their mind what they could possibly do. So the
Mm-hmm.
Facebook group, the society, is it's a group of just free resources. We have a bunch of great people in there that are all kind of doing the same thing they have the same yearning of what they want to do. And then I have a free coaching Friday in there. I have lots of free resources for people just to help people get started.
Right.
That's the hardest part. That is the hardest part. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole blank page syndrome.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in the introduction, I know I talked about LinkedIn. How
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean you discovered LinkedIn, but how did you discover that it was an effective way, doing live streaming or live
Yeah.
training on there? What are you
Yeah.
doing on
Well,
LinkedIn?
so LinkedIn is awesome. I love it because a couple of reasons. Number one, it is underutilized and people still think it's like where you go post your resume. It
Yeah.
started out like a long time ago for that, but it's one of the, one of the top social media platforms. But what's awesome about it is it's all around business, right? So when you're there talking about your business, nobody's offended. Nobody's saying, wait, what? I'll contrast it with, let's say, Facebook or Instagram. That's more of people use that a lot in their free time for like fun and entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're popping in talking about your business and that to them, it doesn't quite mesh, right? So they don't like that much. LinkedIn, that's all we talk about. We talk about business. Nobody's posting pictures of their food they had for lunch, or not so much like their kids. It's really about business and how can we network, and how can you find people that align with your business, or maybe are vertically like against your business, or how can I say that? So we can network and help each other out and cross promote and work together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you scheduling, like, I'm going to be live at a certain
Mhm.
time? Do you just turn on the camera and go, and it shows up on the LinkedIn feed? Like, what's your
Yeah,
strategy?
yeah. So for LinkedIn, so one of my main strategies is I learned this a long time ago, because I used to do this. I don't want to do a video on LinkedIn and then go do one on Facebook and then go to Instagram.
Right.
Like I want to live stream, and I want it to go on all platforms at the same time. And so StreamYard is my favorite.
Which is
I know
what
we're
we're
using
doing.
that right now. And so I will script out. I call it script out, but really it's just like bullet points of what I want to talk about,
Okay.
for an educational purpose, or whatever the content is that I want to provide. And then on myself, I have a schedule. So I'm like Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. I do my live broadcasting on all my social media channels.
Ah.
So that's to keep me accountable and to keep me on a schedule. With LinkedIn, you can schedule your events. There's an events area there, which is great too. And I will definitely start doing that. I like to do that a little more for more involved and longer trainings. When I hop on and do a live to share information, like 5 tips to, increase your engagement on social media, or whatever it is. Those are usually 10 or 15 minutes, and I like to do them impromptu style.
Okay.
So
And
there's different ways to do it.
where else are you broadcasting when you go live? I think you said Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
You're broadcasting on LinkedIn. Do you go to your Facebook group? Do you go anywhere else?
Yep. So my Facebook business page, my Facebook group, the society that we talked about,
Okay.
LinkedIn, and YouTube.
And so you broadcast directly to your YouTube channel.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
And
yep.
when that's done, I'm learning here. Remember,
Yeah.
the coach always learns more than the student.
Yeah.
So when you do that, do you then like put it into a playlist, or it just goes right to your YouTube page and just lands there, and then you move it where you want it to go? Or
Yeah, so it lands there, and then
Okay.
yes, I have like my social media assistant. She brands it and puts a cover on. She makes it pretty and puts
Yeah.
it in a playlist and all those things.
Make
But
sure the
really,
thumbnail doesn't have you looking all awkward.
because they always do,
I know.
no matter what. So I have a little bit of like app, but let's just stream it. Let's just get it done, right? And then we can go in after and optimize it with photos, with keywords, with SEO, like all the things that are required to have a really great, YouTube page. But the most important thing is to just get it done. That's the most important. Whether you have a weird thumbnail, or whether it shows up and it's not perfect, it's like there's no such thing as perfect. So let's just get it done. That is one of the main things that people struggle with, is just showing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I saw on your website, it might have been a blog post, but I believe you call your social media strategy make, manage, and monetize.
Yes. Yes.
Can you share a little?
You did do good research.
I did. I'm telling you, you can't just show up and look smart, right? So talk about that. How did you come up with that, and what does it mean? Because one of the things believe me, in my coaching program, I got a lot of content creators and some others, but there's 2 things. What do I create content on, whether it's a blog post, whatever. And then, the blank page syndrome, which I guess is the same, one part A and part B. And then how do I have time to do that? So some people have all these ideas of what they're gonna do, but they don't have time to do it. And other people say, I don't have a damn clue what to write about.
Right. So you have to ask yourself first, do I have more time or more money? So because some people, right, have a lot of time, especially if you're starting your business and you're doing an online business, there's minimal startup costs, but you have more time because you're just starting out, right? So most likely it's good for you to spend time creating content, right? And so that can be graphic posts, right, on social media. It can be recording videos. It can be writing a blog post. When I work with people, we figure out what they like. I always want people to do what they like, because that breeds consistency, right? If I'm never going to tell somebody, oh, write a blog. And if you hate to write, it's never going to happen, right? So we want to get clear on what you like to do, number one. And where you also like to spend time on social media. Like if you love Instagram, then let's get you all in on Instagram. Like let's create content there. Let's get you really solid there before we add other platforms.
Okay.
Same thing. If you really don't like Instagram, you're not going to show up. You might at first and make yourself do it, but over time, right? So we want to be consistent. And then if you are super busy in your business, so you have probably some more money, hopefully if your business is working the way it's supposed to, then let's hire somebody. Let's get a social media assistant. Let's hire a content creator to help you actually do the actual content creation and the graphics and the posting and the things that take a lot of time and can quite frankly be confusing and overwhelming. So now, of course, there's a time in between there where you're a little of both, right? And sometimes that's the sticky part. But again, if you can just figure out what you can commit to 100% to be consistent with, even if it's less than what you currently want, what you like think you should be doing or want to aspire to be doing, you got to go with what you will consistently be able to show up with to start.
Yeah, when I was out speaking a lot in my earlier newsletter guru days promoting the newsletter business, I used to say one of the things that'll kill your newsletter and the effectiveness is if you launch your first one, oh, big fanfare, it's our new monthly newsletter, way to show appreciation, our customer, blah, blah, blah. And then the next monthly issue comes out 120 days later. You've got to be persistently consistent. Now, you mentioned just a couple seconds ago about hiring a virtual assistant to help you with that. So 2 reasons to do that. If you don't have enough time, and as you said earlier, if you don't like what you're doing, you're most likely not going to do it. So in the world of virtual assistants, I think a couple of the big questions, I usually get asked is, when is it the right time? And what does that look like? It's not an employee, but how did you find your VA, social media VA?
So my agency also helps people find VAs. So we do that for people as well, because so many people need help, right? And not everybody needs an employee, like a full-time or even a part-time. They need like maybe 2 hours a week or just these little bits of time, right? So, and being able to hire somebody that knows what the heck they're doing is going to save you so much time. Let's just use creating like graphics in Canva or something, right? Like we're just going to waste so much time. So the way that I like to have people kind of self-evaluate is, let's say I am a coach and I charge $100 an hour, let's just say. So that's what I charge. And I have so many hours a day that in my day, let's say it's 8 hours a day. If you're doing any job that you can pay somebody minimum wage, let's say, to do, right? You should not be doing it. You're losing money.
That's right.
So if you're paying somebody, I'm not sure of minimum wage in the US anymore, but let's just say that I'll just use $15 as an example. If you're doing something that you can pay somebody $15 an hour and that frees up an hour for you to then charge $100 to your client.
That's it. Yeah.
There you go. Right. That's like, shouldn't even be an option, right? That's just not going to work in your business. So now that being said, a lot of people, because they're scared to show up and have these other things that happen in their business, sometimes we get caught up in busy work because we can feel busy and we're working, 10, 12 hours a day. And I've got all these things to do. And none of it's really moving the needle in their business, but it's kind of a way to not have to do the things that scare us. Which are,
So something else I saw on your website, how to create 30 days worth of content. Well, I'd like to know about that.
So my favorite way to do this, and Jim, you're a great example because you're live streaming right now, right? So so the answer is do live video, right? Okay. So you create the video and then there's one, and then you're streaming it to 4 other places. So you're already at 5, right? So 5 different pieces that you can then share different places. We can cut them up and turn them into Instagram snippets and stories, right? We can get it transcribed. Now it's a blog. It's also a LinkedIn article. Now, so there's all these different ways we can put it as a YouTube video, as a YouTube short. But the main thing is that you're doing one really good video, right? And then how do we take that? Because if you're doing it the way that I'm sure you do it, is you spend a lot of time thinking about what you're going to talk about, writing, researching. And so let's take that, and then once it's done, we can turn it into so many things, right?
Right,
And,
right.
yeah.
So repurposing,
Repurposing.
that's a really good thing. And I don't mean to cut you short, but I only
Yeah.
have 5 minutes. I want to pack a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
more questions
Yeah.
in. So, going back to the VA things, I know a lot of people struggle with that. And
Yeah.
in my book, I think it was Decide, which is the mindset book, I said, learn to delegate or stay small forever. That's your choice, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Me being very sensitive. But so do you recommend somebody, because I know one of the questions people ask is, should I get like a or excuse me, some people say, oh, if I could just clone myself. Well, that would be like, I think you're looking for a generalist. Somebody can do a little bit of everything. Or do you suggest looking for somebody with a specialty, plug that hole, and then get somebody here and plug that hole?
Right. Okay. So again, it kind of goes back to the time and money thing, right? So what I suggest at first, though, is first of all, try people out, right? So so when I try out people, I have a certain task in mind that I want them to have, like a little project. And so I will try them out, right? Because really, I feel like I can train somebody and delegate and train them exactly how I want them to do a post or whatever I'm asking them to do. But what I can't train people to do is to show up on time, to communicate well, to follow through, to be self-accountable. So when I hire somebody, that's really what I'm looking for. And that's why I give them some upfront task to do, just a one-time thing, to see how we flow together. See if because again, I can train them to do the little things in my business. The other thing that I will say is, if you're looking to clone yourself, it's not going to happen. So because only you are you. So you do need to give the reins over a little bit to people and let them surprise you at how great they can do.
Okay.
That's been very successful for me as a former micromanager.
Recovering.
Recovery. That's better.
Yeah. So, which is funny because a friend of mine, I think I told you before we went live, we're meeting some friends who were also boaters. We met in the Keys. They sold their boat too. And so this, my buddy Bob, I said, we're gonna start this support group, men who sold their boats and are sad. Yeah, right. So that's the recovering part. So anyway, sorry, I'll stay focused. So Susie, I want to kind of wrap up where we started. Let's talk about the virtual lifestyle, because I think people are fascinated with that to a degree. And, I deal with both online and offline clients in the Dream Business Mastermind, but a lot of people that are in the online space are online marketers because they dream of having the flexibility, yet they never leave their home. They never leave their office. How did you get comfortable with that? Are you comfortable? Talk about traveling, and then you're going to go to Europe. Are you how do you just talk about the mindset from something like that?
Yeah. When I first started, I just transposed my 12 or 14-hour days back in the United States into my new business. Like I found myself, right, doing all the things, doing all the work, hitting the income ceiling, because I didn't want to delegate work to a VA. I didn't want to, I was very, again, micromanager, recovering micromanaging. And so that leads to burnout. And who wants to do that? Who wants to be stuck again in a job that you're trading dollars for hours, right? So now, obviously, there's things you need to do in your business, but my most favorite thing that has happened is creating online courses or creating a service that is like a recurring service, like our social media that somebody buys from us. But we have it set up in a one and done, I call it. So we create the content, right? And then they get it every month, but we also use that same content for other people. We just brand it for them and change it a little bit. So it's creating your body of work and your courses one time, and then being able to sell them over and over and over to people.
Got it.
Right. And so that's my most favorite, because I can be traveling or doing whatever, and I'm still getting notifications that someone just bought my course online, right? Because I have a great sales funnel. So that's been the huge turning point between still working, even though I'm in a different country, versus being able to travel and have like a 24-hour business in the background.
Yeah.
Now I do have to carve out those times to build the courses or to make a coaching program for people, right? So there's times where I put my head down and stay inside and build out something that then I can
Then you can
promote.
go to the beach or do whatever you want to
Exactly.
do.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Only 2 or 3 years into my very first business, Stephanie and I we still have our kayaks, but we live right near a lake. And I would go in the middle of the day and just paddle around the lake, just good to clear the mind.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Well, I remember getting out of the lake one day, and there was a woman there with a couple small kids. And I said hello. And she said hi. So, do you mind if I ask you, it's the middle of the day, how are you able to do that? I said, well, I'm self-employed. And she goes, well, that must be nice. And I said, well, I get to choose whatever 80 hours in the day or week I want to work. And if I want to go kayaking, but believe me, I'll probably be working.
Right. Make up for it some other place.
So
yes.
What a phenomenal. And by the way, we'll close with this. And if you still lack the courage to pull the trigger and go enjoy your lifestyle, remember this is my thing. The sand is always running out and you can't stop it. Oh, there we go.
That's right.
I've had this for 21 years now. Just reminds me the sand is running out and you can't stop it. So do not wait for this magical time or this someday date where it's going to be okay. Okay, now we're going to go. No, figure out a way to create what I call your dream business so you can live your dream lifestyle and live that dream lifestyle while you're still working. Just figure out a way to make that happen. What a great interview, Susie. Thank you so much. Now, I'm sure people want to connect with you and learn from you. What would be the right website to go to?
Yeah, let's just SusieBills.com. We'll keep it really easy. SusieBills.com.
Let me write that down.
And from there, they can join the group, the free resources group. There's a lot of great stuff on that. So
Wonderful.
Come on over. I'll just say really quickly, I do have one of the resources I have is called 111 businesses you can build online. So if anybody needs ideas, right? If you want to do it, but you're not really sure what to do, go to SusieBills.com. You can sign up for that ebook and will give you all kinds of ideas.
SusieBills.com. I would say that's going to be pretty easy to remember. Okay. Thanks so much. Hey folks, that wraps up this very special interview. You're welcome with my guest, Susie Bills. I highly recommend you connect with her, follow her, learn from her. Her website is pretty cool. That's where I got a lot of my research done. You can connect with me at getjimpalmer.com. And if you're interested in joining the about 28 smart entrepreneurs in the Dream Business Mastermind, be a very good decision on your part. Go to dreambizcoaching.com, dreambizcoaching.com. Remember, as part of my legacy building program, you can get all 6 of my books for free in digital format. Get them at Amazon in the form of obviously Kindle, Nook Books at Barnes & Noble, which is bnn.com. And they're also in the iBook store. And remember, you can get my amazing course, how to create a lucrative virtual mastermind. Its cart's open through Tuesday. So if you're listening to a replay on Wednesday, you've missed the boat. But if you go to lucrativevirtualmastermind.com, you will find that. But until this time next week, I am Captain Jim Palmer, the Dream Business Coach, and you take good care.